Under a tapestry of glowing cosmic hues, Elena raced through a jungle alive with whispered secrets and luminous danger, every step echoing the weight of a fractured past and the promise of an uncharted future. Phosphorescent vines clutched at the air like silent guardians, their shimmering tendrils dancing in the gentle night breeze. In that charged moment, beneath a sky ablaze with starlight and sorrow, her resolve ignited, a defiant vow to safeguard Elysium Nova at all costs. Dr. Elena Marquez burst from the tangled undergrowth into a clearing where the alien flora pulsed with an ethereal glow. The air was thick with the sweet, tangy scent of bioluminescent orchids mingling with the damp earth's musk. Every leaf and petal shimmered with a mysterious radiance, as if the planet itself were breathing secrets into the night. Elena's heart pounded, not solely from the exertion of her flight, but from the relentless churn of memories and the ever-looming threat that had haunted her steps since her arrival on this strange world. Her mind raced back to the moment she first set foot on Elysium Nova, a realm that promised both wonder and peril. She remembered the hushed awe of the colonists as they beheld the floating crystalline spires that pierced the sky, and the quiet reverence with which the indigenous voices spoke of an ancient legacy. But with beauty came an undercurrent of foreboding, a subtle warning woven into the very fabric of the planet's existence. Elena, scarred by past betrayals and driven by a fierce desire to protect this delicate balance, knew that every discovery here could tip the scales between hope and annihilation. As she navigated through the dense, radiant forest, Elena's thoughts were interrupted by the distant hum of advanced machinery, a stark reminder that the world she cherished was not free from the ravages of external ambition. Rumors of Earth's imperial forces, led by the iron-willed Admiral Victor Kroll, had begun to ripple through the settlement. Even now, as she pressed deeper into the jungle, the eerie sound reverberated through the vibrant night, mingling with the natural symphony of chirps and rustling leaves. It was a clarion call of conflict, a signal that the delicate peace of Elysium Nova was on the verge of shattering. In the shifting shadows beneath the bioluminescent canopy, every rustle, every flicker of light, became a portent of the trials to come. Elena's determination steeled within her as she vowed to unearth the secrets of these ancient ruins and decipher the hidden wisdom of a civilization long lost to time. The relics scattered among the ruins were not just artifacts. They were keys to a deeper understanding of the planet's soul, a soul that now cried out for salvation. With each measured step, the weight of her duty and the intensity of her mission pressed upon her, forging her into a reluctant guardian at the crossroads of history and destiny. In that fateful night, beneath a sky awash with the radiance of distant suns and the glow of alien life, Dr. Elena Marquez embraced the challenge that lay before her. The path ahead was fraught with danger, the very air tinged with the promise of both revelation and ruin. And yet, driven by an unyielding passion and the haunting echoes of a past marred by loss, she pressed forward, determined to protect the luminous legacy of Elysium Nova, no matter the cost. Dr. Elena Marquez stood before a monumental stone archway, its surface etched with swirling, cryptic symbols that seemed to breathe with the cadence of a long-forgotten language. The relics of an ancient civilization sprawled out before her, a labyrinth of crumbling structures and hidden chambers, each corner steeped in mystery and silence. With every cautious step, the soft crunch of dust underfoot mingled with the faint hum of the planet's pulse, creating a symphony that resonated with both wonder and sorrow. Inside the ruins, shafts of pale, otherworldly light filtered through gaps in the collapsed ceiling, casting intricate patterns on walls that whispered stories of glory and downfall. Elena's eyes, wide with reverence, roamed over the time-worn carvings. Her fingers traced the delicate contours of hieroglyphics, and in that tactile communion, she felt the pulse of a civilization that had mastered both art and technology. Each inscription hinted at a reservoir of knowledge, a repository of advanced alien technology that had once shaped the destiny of Elysium Nova. As she carefully documented the inscriptions with a handheld scanner, memories of her past surged forward. The loss of her family to an era defined by oppression and war left an indelible mark on her soul. Every fragment of history she unearthed served as both a balm and a reminder of the urgency to preserve what remained. The relics before her were more than mere remnants of stone and metal. They were a testament to resilience, creativity, and the unyielding spirit of a people who had reached for the stars. A particular wall, adorned with intricate patterns that mimicked the spiral arms of a galaxy, captured her attention. The symbols, more elaborate than any she had encountered before, pulsed faintly with a soft, azure glow. As she decoded the sequence, a narrative began to emerge, a chronicle of a civilization that had harnessed cosmic energy to fuel their inventions and build cities that floated like dreams among the clouds. The realization struck her with profound intensity. The technology hinted at in these relics was not just advanced, it was revolutionary. It had the potential to alter the very fabric of reality on Elysium Nova. Elena's heart pounded with a mixture of excitement and trepidation. Every new discovery was a step closer to understanding the ancient secrets, but it also deepened the mystery. What had caused the fall of such a mighty civilization? Were the relics left behind as warnings, or as gifts meant for future generations to reclaim lost wisdom? These questions swirled in her mind, interlacing with the personal stakes that drove her forward. She recalled the whispered legends of her ancestors, tales of a civilization that had vanished amidst cosmic cataclysms, leaving behind only echoes in stone and dreams in the dark. The temperature in the chamber subtly shifted as she pressed further into the depths of the ruin. A cool, almost ethereal breeze seemed to emanate from the heart of the ancient edifice, carrying with it the scent of mineral-rich earth and the faint aroma of forgotten incense. In the center of the chamber lay an altar, its surface adorned with fragments of crystalline technology that refracted the dim light into a mesmerizing mosaic. It was as if the altar itself was a relic of power, a nexus of the past that beckoned her to unlock its secrets. Pausing before the altar, Elena allowed herself a moment of introspection. The weight of responsibility pressed upon her. Every symbol she deciphered, every artifact she unearthed, was a thread connecting her to a legacy of hope and despair. Her own past, marked by the scars of loss and the relentless pursuit of truth, intertwined with the destiny of this enigmatic planet. The echoes of ancient voices seemed to murmur in the silence, urging her to embrace her role as both a scholar and a guardian. In a delicate dance of light and shadow, Elena began to carefully remove a protective layer of dust from a series of panels embedded in the altar. Underneath, a series of detailed diagrams revealed what appeared to be a map, an astronomical chart of constellations and cosmic pathways that defied the conventional understanding of space. The symbols along the border pulsed with the same subtle luminescence as those on the walls, drawing her into a deeper narrative of exploration and loss. It was as if the altar itself held the key to harnessing an energy source that had once powered an entire civilization. Every discovery in that ancient hall amplified her resolve. The relics whispered not only of a past filled with technological marvels and artistic beauty, but also of a cautionary tale, a civilization undone by its own ambitions and vulnerabilities. Elena realized that the balance of power on Elysium Nova was delicate, and that the secrets buried within these ruins might hold the answers to preserving it against the impending storm of Earth's imperial might. As she carefully documented each new finding, her mind churned with possibilities. The revelations promised to reshape her understanding of the planet's history and its future potential. Elena knew that the journey ahead would be fraught with peril, both from the external threat of a conquering force and the internal struggle of reconciling the past with the future. But in that quiet, hallowed space, amidst echoes of a bygone era, she felt an indomitable surge of hope. The ancient walls, bathed in the gentle glow of alien luminescence, seemed to affirm her silent vow to unearth every secret, to honor the legacy of a civilization lost, and to protect the luminous heritage of Elysium Nova at all costs. With a final, determined glance at the relics before her, Dr. Elena Marquez stepped away from the altar, armed not only with newfound knowledge, but also with the profound responsibility to safeguard the echoes of the past. For they held the promise of a future yet to be written. The dusk on Elysium Nova deepened into an uncanny twilight, where vibrant hues of fading bioluminescence clashed with creeping shadows. In the secluded council hall of a repurposed habitat dome, anxious voices merged with the rustle of holographic maps. Rumors, no longer whispers, of Earth's imperial armada surged like a tidal wave. Dr. Elena Marquez sat at the head of the table, her eyes reflecting both the serene glow of ancient relics and the encroaching darkness of an inevitable invasion. Across the settlement, the air crackled with urgency as indigenous leaders and human colonists gathered in clandestine meetings. The earthy aroma of native flora mingled with the sterile tang of advanced communication devices. In hushed tones, they debated their dwindling options, aware that every moment allowed the distant hum of mechanized warships to draw nearer. Elena's heart pounded with a mix of dread and resolute determination, her memories of past betrayals fueling her passion to defend the fragile harmony of this world. Far above the planet's surface, within the cold metallic corridors of a flagship in Earth's Terran Dominion armada, Admiral Victor Kroll surveyed a vast digital projection of Elysium Nova. The room pulsed with a sterile blue light as Kroll's cold gaze swept over every detail of the settlement's defenses. His voice, measured and devoid of sentiment, issued orders to his officers. Prepare for full deployment. "No quarter for those who stand in the way of Earth's destiny," he commanded, the echo of his words reverberating through the sleek, high-tech war room. Back on the ground, Elena listened intently to intercepted transmissions that confirmed her worst fears. The dialogue between Imperial envoys crackled over secure channels, every phrase a calculated threat, every command a harbinger of subjugation. They aimed to seize not only relics but the very soul of Elysium Nova, she confided to a trusted elder, her voice trembling with both fear and fierce defiance. "We must stand united, for if we yield, every memory, every hope will be lost." In that charged moment, the ideological divide became painfully clear. The Council's fervent debate was a tapestry of clashing visions, one thread, woven with compassion and the preservation of ancient wisdom, the other, a cold, unyielding ambition for conquest. Elena's eyes blazed as she recounted the legends of her ancestors, stories of resilience in the face of overwhelming odds, and pleaded for unity. "We are not relics to be plundered," she declared, her tone both tender and unbreakable, but living witnesses to a heritage that must endure. Outside, the distant rumble of approaching engines mingled with the natural chorus of nocturnal life, a stark reminder of the imminent collision between two worlds. The sensation was almost tangible, a palpable weight pressing down on every soul in the room. With each passing moment, the shadows on the horizon grew darker, foretelling a conflict that would test the very fabric of Elysium Nova. As the meeting drew to a close, the resolve of its participants crystallized into a single, unwavering purpose. Elena gathered her notes and, with a final, determined glance at the holographic map, vowed that the heritage of this alien paradise would not fall to the iron fist of imperial ambition. In the quiet before the storm, every whispered promise and steadfast oath resonated like a heartbeat, steady, defiant, and resolute. The horizon darkened as the first silhouettes of Earth's warships tore through the heavens, their metallic forms slicing into the serene twilight of Elysium Nova. A deep, resonant hum, part engine, part unspoken threat, rolled over the landscape, shattering the fragile peace with its ominous cadence. The air grew heavy with charged ions and the acrid tang of ionized metal, as if the planet itself braced for the impending storm of steel and fire. Below, in the verdant depths of the bioluminescent jungle, Dr. Elena Marquez stood transfixed on the distant glow of the descending fleet. Every pulse of light from the warship's underbellies illuminated the delicate flora, transforming the forest into a surreal canvas where nature and technology clashed in stark relief. Her heart pounded in her chest, each beat a counterpoint to the steady thrum of the Imperial engines, a sound that promised devastation and upheaval. As the colossal vessels descended, landing pads materialized in a series of explosive eruptions against the soft, alien terrain. Clouds of fine dust and shimmering energy spiraled upward, obscuring the view momentarily before revealing rows of armored infantry vehicles and mechanized battalions. The imposing figures of soldiers clad in reflective armor marched in formation, their synchronized steps echoing with military precision. The quiet murmur of the indigenous life was abruptly drowned by the clamor of advanced weaponry and the relentless thud of mechanized progress. In the central command post of the settlement, a tense murmur spread like wildfire. Indigenous leaders and human colonists alike gathered in hurried clusters, their faces etched with disbelief and fear. The holographic maps flickering on improvised screens displayed the inexorable advance of the Imperial fleet, its red markers pulsating like a malignant heartbeat over the territory. Elena's eyes, once filled with scholarly wonder at the relics of ancient civilization, now burned with a fierce resolve born of imminent danger. "Steady, everyone," Elena's voice rang out, firm yet laced with urgency, as she stepped forward from the shadowed alcove of the command center. The room fell silent, save for the digital chirps of incoming data feeds. "We cannot allow them to strip our home of its soul. We must stand together, every hand, every heart, to defend what has nurtured us for generations." Her words, both a plea and a battle cry, reverberated through the tense air, igniting sparks of determination in the eyes of those who listened. Outside, the first skirmishes erupted as indigenous warriors and colonist defenders launched guerrilla strikes against the advancing Imperial forces. The cacophony of energy blasts, clashing armors, and shattering alien flora mingled with the natural symphony of nocturnal creatures startled into silence. A brilliant flare of plasma burst against the dark canopy, the explosion sending ripples of fire and light that danced along the ancient trunks and crystalline spires. In the midst of chaos, Elena's mind raced, not only with the immediacy of conflict but with the weight of history, each echo of ancient voices urging her to protect the legacy of Elysium Nova. High above, Aboard a flagship that loomed like a floating citadel of war, Admiral Victor Kroll oversaw the unfolding battle with an unyielding gaze. His voice, transmitted over secure channels, was as cold and precise as the laser beams that carved through the night. "Engage all targets. Let no dissenters tarnish Earth's rightful dominion," he commanded, his words a chilling reminder of the imperial resolve behind every strike. His calculated tactics contrasted sharply with the raw, desperate valor emerging on the ground below, a silent war between the cold logic of conquest and the indomitable spirit of survival. Amid the cacophony, Elena moved swiftly through the chaos, coordinating with local fighters and directing defensive positions with both instinct and the weight of her newfound responsibility. Every step she took was a testament to her inner transformation from an inquisitive scholar into a stalwart guardian. The neon flashes of energy weapons illuminated her determined face, revealing eyes hardened by loss yet softened by hope, a duality that defined her very essence. In that critical juncture, the descent of Earth's fleet became more than a mere military maneuver. It was a reckoning that tested the bonds of culture, heritage, and the innate human desire for freedom. The ground trembled under the weight of iron wills colliding, as the shimmering glow of Elysium Nova bore witness to the birth of a resistance forged in the crucible of conflict. And so, beneath the oppressive shadow of towering war machines and the resounding echoes of defiance, Dr. Elena Marquez embraced her destiny, leading her people with a voice that resonated like a promise of rebirth amid the wreckage of imperial ambition. Deep within the labyrinth of ruins, beneath a veil of moss and starlight, Dr. Elena Marquez discovered a passage hidden behind a crumbling mural, a doorway etched with alien glyphs that pulsed faintly as if beckoning her forward. With trembling resolve, she brushed aside centuries of dust and vines to reveal a narrow corridor, its walls shimmering with an inner light. Every step echoed in a silence that felt both reverent and foreboding, as if the passage itself guarded secrets too powerful to be unveiled lightly. Emerging into an immense chamber, Elena's eyes widened at the sight of a vast, domed space filled with relics from a forgotten era. In the center of the chamber stood a colossal crystalline structure, its facets catching and refracting the ambient glow into a symphony of colors. The air vibrated with a low, rhythmic hum, a sound that resonated deep within her bones, stirring echoes of ancient voices. The floor, a mosaic of intricate alien patterns, pulsed with soft luminescence, as if it were alive and aware of her presence. As she cautiously approached the crystalline monolith, the device began to stir. Gradually, its dormant energy awakened, sending ripples of ethereal light dancing across the chamber's walls. Elena's breath caught in her throat as the crystal's inner core ignited, a pulsating heart of blue and violet energy that seemed to bridge the gap between the tangible and the cosmic. The once quiet hum escalated into a resonant chorus, reverberating through the chamber and summoning the ancient technology into a state of dynamic life. In that transcendent moment, the transformative potential of the relic became unmistakably clear. The chamber, now alive with the energy of the ancients, radiated power that could reshape the destiny of Elysium Nova. Elena's scientific mind raced with possibilities. This was not merely a remnant of a lost civilization, but a key, a latent force capable of turning the tide against the relentless advance of Earth's imperial fleet. Yet, with that realization came an acute awareness of the stakes. Such power, if harnessed or misused, could either be a beacon of hope or the harbinger of devastation. Outside, the conflict's distant rumble intermingled with the chamber's awakening symphony, as if the ancient technology itself sensed the approaching storm. Elena, caught between wonder and the crushing weight of responsibility, knew that this discovery could unite her people and alter the balance of power. With careful reverence, she reached out to the glowing structure, her fingertips meeting the cool, pulsating surface, a silent promise that the legacy of the ancients would not be lost to time, but would ignite a new era of resilience and defiance. The clash erupted with the fury of a cosmic tempest on the scarred plains of Elysium Nova. Under a bruised twilight sky, where ancient ruins and futuristic war machines collided, the battlefield became a crucible for both physical might and ideological resolve. The air shimmered with energy blasts and charged particles as the two forces, one born of relentless imperial ambition, the other of desperate, enduring hope, met head-on in a confrontation that transcended mere combat. Dr. Elena Marquez, clad in salvaged armor etched with symbols of her people's heritage, moved like a specter between columns of defiant fighters. The ground trembled under the relentless pounding of mechanized infantry advancing with cold precision, their boots kicking up clouds of alien dust. With every step, Elena's heart pounded a rhythm of resolve, Her eyes blazed with the intensity of someone who had borne witness to both the beauty and cruelty of worlds. Around her, the cries of warriors and the hum of energy weapons melded into a chaotic symphony, a soundtrack to a battle where every strike was laden with history and the promise of a new dawn. High above the melee, amidst swirling debris and flickering holograms, Admiral Victor Kroll's visage glared from a massive command viewport. His voice, smooth and unyielding, cut through the clamor. Press forward. Show no mercy. This world will be ours. The Imperial orders reverberated over the comms, a chilling contrast to the impassioned pleas and defiant roars rising from the defenders below. In a moment of surreal confrontation, Elena found herself face-to-face with an Imperial officer, his uniform pristine yet marred by the evidence of battle. Between the cacophony of clashing ideologies, they exchanged a charged dialogue, words as piercing as laser fire. "You fight for a world that strips life of its meaning," Elena spat, her voice quivering with both fury and sorrow. "Our past, our heritage, they are not trophies to be claimed but legacies to be honored." The officer's eyes, momentarily softened by the weight of her conviction, flickered with uncertainty before the hard discipline of his training reclaimed him. As the battle intensified, the strategic lines blurred. On one front, indigenous warriors and human colonists, unified by a fierce bond to their land, pressed back with guerrilla strikes and determined resistance. Explosions sent shockwaves that rattled ancient stone structures, their centuries-old carvings illuminated by the stark flashes of plasma and laser fire. Each burst of light revealed the raw vulnerability of a civilization caught between the ghosts of its past and the encroaching specter of conquest. Simultaneously, in a high-stakes gambit that balanced on the edge of myth and technology, Elena activated the ancient relics she had uncovered. The dormant crystalline technology surged to life, its pulsating glow slicing through the smoke and chaos. A cascade of radiant energy rippled outward, forming a protective shield that intertwined with the very essence of the land. The defensive aura lent an almost sacred quality to the battlefield, as if the spirits of a long-lost civilization had risen to stand with the defenders of Elysium Nova. In that incandescent moment, the relics became more than relics. They transformed into a beacon of hope and a tangible manifestation of cultural defiance. Amidst the melee, as explosions rocked the field and ideologies collided with every thrust and parry, a pivotal confrontation emerged. In a clearing framed by shattered spires and luminous relics, Admiral Kroll himself stepped forward. His imposing figure, a blend of cold military efficiency and unyielding ambition, locked eyes with Elena. The air crackled with tension, the space between them charged with the weight of their respective convictions. "Your defiance is admirable," Dr. Kroll intoned, his tone measured yet laced with disdain. "But you cling to relics of a bygone era. Progress demands sacrifice, and this planet's resources will fuel Earth's future." Elena's reply was as fierce as it was heartfelt. "Progress that devours our heritage is no progress at all. You strip away the soul of worlds for the sake of dominion. We fight not for relics, but for the right to exist and flourish in our own light." Their words, exchanged like dueling blades, encapsulated the core of the battle, a struggle not only for survival but for the very definition of civilization. Around them, the conflict raged on, a tumult of valor and violence, where every shattered barrier and every defiant shout echoed with the promise of renewal. The ideological duel was interwoven with the physical, a relentless ballet of conviction and force that left no soul untouched by its resonance. As the confrontation reached its zenith, the battlefield became a living tapestry of human emotion and ancient power. The resounding clash of ideals, captured in every furious charge and desperate plea, heralded a moment of irrevocable transformation. In the heart of the maelstrom, where the forces of imperial conquest met the enduring spirit of cultural preservation, the fate of Elysium Nova teetered on the edge of a knife. The relentless roar of battle, the piercing eyes of leaders locked in combat, and the radiant surge of ancient technology all testified to one incontrovertible truth: the outcome of this struggle would shape not just the future of one world, but the destiny of all who dared to dream of a universe where heritage and hope could triumph over tyranny. In the hushed aftermath of the tumultuous battle, a fragile dawn crept over the scarred plains of Elysium Nova. The once fiery skies softened into tender pastels as the remnants of Earth's imperial fleet melted into the horizon, leaving behind a silence heavy with loss, hope, and the unspoken promise of rebirth. The ancient relics, now dormant yet ever mysterious, pulsed with a gentle luminescence, casting ethereal patterns upon ruins that bore the weight of both triumphant defiance and bitter sacrifice. Dr. Elena Marquez stood at the crest of a weathered hill, her eyes tracing the outlines of a battered yet resolute settlement. The once vibrant sounds of clashing armies had given way to the soft murmur of recovery, the quiet footsteps of survivors, and the whisper of wind through shattered spires. Every scar on the land told a story, the fiery trails of plasma blasts, the gouges left by relentless Imperial armor, and the delicate imprints of ancient symbols that had guided her path to this pivotal moment. In the cooling light of early morning, Elena's thoughts wandered to the echoes of the fierce battle. The valor of those who had fought for Elysium Nova's soul, the shared pain of loss, and the resilient spirit that had united a divided people. She remembered the fervent clash of ideals, a conversation with an Imperial officer, the defiant roars of indigenous warriors, and the silent, steadfast gaze of the ancients as their technology awakened to shield their heritage. Each memory was a poignant reminder of the high stakes that had been born, and of the irrevocable change etched into the very core of this world. As she walked among the ruins, Elena gently touched the moss-covered stone of a collapsed archway, feeling the cold, rough texture beneath her fingertips, a tangible connection to the past. Here, in the quiet communion with history, the lessons of ancient wisdom mingled with the raw emotion of recent conflict. The soft murmur of a distant stream and the delicate hum of the revitalized relics provided a soothing counterpoint to the chaos that had once reigned. It was a moment of reckoning, the recognition that while progress had been forged in the flames of war, the preservation of culture and memory was paramount to the identity of this fragile world. Gathering with the remaining survivors, Elena listened as voices, both weary and resolute, rose in tentative hope. A council convened amid the remnants of a once grand assembly hall, where indigenous elders and human colonists alike shared stories of valor, loss, and dreams of renewal. Their dialogue was a tapestry of soft yet determined words, each narrative a testament to resilience, each vow pledged to rebuild and honor the legacy that had nearly been erased. In the midst of this collective reflection, Elena spoke with measured strength, her voice carrying the weight of both her personal journey and the shared aspirations of a people reborn. We have witnessed the depths of despair and the heights of defiance. Let us now kindle the embers of hope and craft a future that embraces our past, our pain, and our promise of a united tomorrow. The air itself seemed to listen, charged with the latent energy of ancient technology and the renewed pulse of life. Nature, reclaiming its dominion over the scars of war, stirred gently. Vines crept over metal husks and shattered stone, while the bioluminescent flora, undaunted by destruction, began to glow with an almost reverent warmth. It was as if the very spirit of Elysium Nova was whispering that from the rubble of despair, new life could emerge, rooted in remembrance, nurtured by hope, and destined for a horizon where the past and the future intertwined. In that poignant moment, as the first rays of dawn bathed the landscape in a gentle embrace, Elena felt the stirring of a new beginning. Though the wounds of conflict would take time to heal, the spirit of resistance and the enduring power of heritage had sown the seeds of transformation. The legacy of the ancients, the sacrifices of the brave, and the courage of every soul on Elysium Nova converged to herald a dawning era, a time when the scars of war would give way to the promise of unity, growth, and an everlasting tribute to life itself. With a final, reflective gaze over the burgeoning community and the ancient relics softly aglow, Dr. Elena Marquez allowed herself a quiet smile, a small but steadfast beacon of hope. In the resolute silence that followed, the future unfurled before them like a blank canvas, inviting the colors of new dreams and the brushstrokes of a shared destiny.